अक्षस्रक्परशुं गदेषु कुलिशं पद्मं धनुष्कुण्डिकां दण्डं शक्तिमसिञ्च चर्मजलजं घण्टां सुराभाजनं शूलं पाशसुदर्शने च दधतीं हस्तैः प्रसन्नाननां सेवे सैरिभमर्दिनी मिह महालक्ष्मीं सरोजस्थिताम्. Devi Mahatmyam, chapter number 2. The power of the Devi and destruction of Mahishasura army. The Rishi said, once upon a time, when Mahishasura was lord of the Asuras and Indra was lord of the Devas, they fought a war for 100 years until the Asuras won. Then Mahishasura took Indra's place as the lord of the heavens. The defeated Devas, led by Brahma, approached Shiva and Vishnu. There were 30 gods including Surya, Indra, Agni, Anila, Vayu, Chandrama, Varuna and Yama. They all described in detail how the evil Mahishasura had thrown them out of heaven. He had taken their rightful places, forcing them to wander the earth like mortals. The immortals asked the lords Shiva and Vishnu to protect them from the wicked conduct of their enemies. As they heard the Deva story, Vishnu and Shiva became furious. Heavy frowns bent their brows. Then that anger burst forth as a great light from Brahma, from Vishnu, and from all other lords and devas. From Vishnu and from Indra too. From each of them a powerful light glowed. Then this great energy, which came from the assembled gods, merged and became one extremely bright light, like a blazing mountain peak. That light spread across the sky, illuminating all the 10 directions. That combined light from the Devas manifested in the form of a woman whose splendor filled the 3 worlds. The light from the unconquerable Lord Shiva became her beautiful face. From the light of Yama, her hair came. From Vishnu's light, her arms. By Soma's light, her breasts. Her waist by Indra's light. And by Varuna's light, her legs. And by earth, her buttocks and hips. From Brahma's light came her feet. And by the sun, her toes were made. The Vasu's lights became her fingers, and Kubera's light her nose. Prajapati's light became her teeth, and her 3 eyes came from the light of Narayana. Her womb came from Agni's light, and the 2 Sandhyas gave her eyebrows. Her ears came from the light of Vayu. So it was that from these lights of so many devas, the auspicious Devi became visible. Then, as they gazed at her, those gods who had been so oppressed were suddenly filled with joy. From his trident, Pinaka, Lord Shiva then drew forth and presented her trident. Lord Krishna gave her a discus which he brought forth from his own discus. Varuna presented a conch and Agni gave a spear. Indra gave a thunderbolt drawn from his own thunderbolt. The Marutas presented her bow and arrows, while Indra drew her bell from his elephant's bell. From his staff, Lord Yama drew her staff. The Lord of the oceans gave her her noose. Her necklace and water pot came from Lord Brahma. Surya's rays illuminated the pores of her skin. Kala, the lord of time, bestowed a pure shield and a shining sword. The milk ocean brought her necklace of finest pearl, two everlasting robes, and a glorious jeweled crown and earrings, bracelets of her upper arms and forearms, pure anklets, and a fabulous necklace. Jeweled rings covered all her fingers, and a crescent moon adorned her hair. Vishwakarma gave her many missiles, a pure axe, and impenetrable armor. From the ocean came garlands of unfading lotus flowers to adorn her head and breast, and a lotus to carry in her hand. The mountain Himavat adorned her with jewels and gave her a lion to ride. Kubera, the lord of wealth, gave her a divine cup filled with ambrosia, which never can be emptied. Her jeweled serpent necklace was given by Shesha, the lord of serpents, who balances the three worlds. The other gods also adorned her and gave her more armaments. Then the Devi laughed again and again, such long, high, terrifying peals of laughter, so loud, so unrestrained that it caused the earth and the sky and all of the waters to tremble. Every part of the world and its oceans shook with agitation at that roaring sound. The gods were filled with gladness and they shouted, "Victory to her, the lion rider!" All the sages also praised her, bowing in devotion. Alarmed at such total commotion in the three worlds, all the wicked asuras rushed out, brandishing their weapons. "Ha! What is this?" shouted the enraged Mahishasura. Then, as the asuras all charged towards that terrifying challenge of the Devi, Mahishasura saw her standing there, her splendor pervading the three worlds, her footsteps causing the earth to bend, her crown engraving its mark on the heavens. The twang of her bowstring agitated all of the corners of hell. Her 1,000 arms filled the four quarters. She is all pervading. Thus she commenced her battle with those enemies of the gods. Swords and daggers clashed and whirled. So many missiles were discharged. The whole sky was ablaze. There were four great divisions of Mahishasura's armies. They were led by the generals Chiksura and Chamara with their myriads of chariots. Udagra brought his 60,000 chariots. Mahahanu had 10 million chariots. Asiloma brought 15 million to battle. Bhashkala had 6 million. Ugra Darshana and Parivarita came with thousands of elephants and horses and 10 million chariots to fight. Vidala also fought surrounded by 500 crores of chariots. And many more asuras came with tusked elephants and fiery steeds to fight with the Devi in that battle. Then Mahishasura, surrounded by thousands of crores of horses and chariots and elephants, using javelins and cleavers, staves and maces and spears, commenced to battle with the Devi. They hurled nooses and clubs at her. Some attacked her with swords, but she easily snared their arrows and missiles with her noose. Extending her many arms, she playfully amused herself. With her sword and discus, She severed their weapons effortlessly while she showered them with arrows. All the gods and sages watched and sang her praises as the weapons of the Devi pierced the bodies of Asuras, sending them crazy with pain. She rode her angry lion. He shook his mane as he stalked among the armies of Asuras. They fell like trees in a forest fire. Delighted, Ambika loosed sighs of satisfaction in the battle. Each breath instantly created hundreds and thousands of Ganas who rose to join her in the battle, wreaking destruction on the enemy with their axes and tridents. Her Ganas were filled with energy by the power of the Devi. They blew conches while some played mridangams and tabors. It now became a mighty martial festival. The Devi killed Asuras by the hundreds with the showers of spears as well as with her trident, her club, and her sword. Hundreds more were thrown down, stunned by the sound of her bell. Some were bound by her noose and dragged to the ground. Some she split into two with her sword. Some lay on the ground, crushed by her mace. Her club hammered others so severely they vomited blood. Some fell to the ground, pierced in the breast by her trident. Her arrows fell like torrents on those enemies of the Devas. In such dense masses, they were quickly slaughtered, quickly cut to pieces. The arms of some were severed, necks were broken, some were torn in half, heads rolled on the ground. Some great asuras fell as their legs were cut off. Others were cut clean down the middle by her sword. Some fell and rose again, headless trunks, still fighting, swords in hand, dancing to the rhythm of the drums and trumpets. Then some asura shouted, "Stop, stop," at the Devi. Soon the earth was thickly covered with an impassable tangle, a mass of elephants, horses, asuras, and broken chariots. Rivers of blood flowed among them. Ambika destroyed the whole army as quickly as fire destroys wood and straw. Her lion roared as he stalked among them, shaking his mane and seeking the few still breathing. And the Devas, watching the triumph of the Devi, showered her with flowers in their gratitude.